Bubba Shot the podcast, and that's right, a show about country at its time.
Welcome to Bubba Shot the podcast. First, the facts. Love Without End, Amen, is a song from George Strait, the last one of our internationally recognized and awarded series, 4 weeks straight on Bubba Shot the podcast. It was released in April of 1990, just barely getting into eligibility for this podcast. It was written by Aaron Barker. It was the lead single off of his album Living It Up, and it became George Strait's biggest hit of all time.
Really?
Number one on Canada Tracks, Hot Country Singles, Billboard, U.S. Country Billboard, and even crossed over to enter the Billboard Hot 200.
I'm stunned.
Me too.
I mean, not that this isn't a great song. It's just like
I wouldn't have thought it was number one.
No.
I think that you've got to consider that those things it's radio play in the 90s. So is this his most popular song with every person across the board? Well, there's no way to measure that, especially when you don't personally download or play the song on Spotify back then. So back then it had to be based on radio plays. Well, dude, as we're going to get into the content, what could be more of a radio hit than something as sweet as this song, but also and catchy, but also slightly different from his love songs that, in other words, you're a radio DJ in 1990 and you've got all these songs and your fans, they don't want to hear anything controversial. They don't want to hear anything different. They don't want to hear anything new. Here you've got a song that they'll be okay with, but it is kind of different.
Yeah, and very churchy.
Yeah, so we said the name of the song already, right? Also, there's a gnat buzzing around my face and shit repeatedly. So if you see me looking like I'm, chasing a sky taco with my eyes like that one gif, it's a fucking gnat that won't leave me alone. But we said the song, right? We've established the song.
Love Without End, Amen.
Love Without End, Amen.
I don't know how this episode's finna go for me because I don't know because like
you forgot about that last verse, didn't you?
No, there's so many different things about this song that conflict for me personally. So number one, love George Strait, love 90s country. As a kid, I never gave a fuck about this song, but I just didn't. Okay.
Yeah. Why would you?
Why was that, Trey?
Well, I was raised.
Me too, by the way.
I was raised by a single father, right? But my dad hated 90s country music with a passion. 90s country music was entirely the province of my mama and the other people in my life. My dad hated this shit. So and my dad's dead now. So shit about dads and dead dads will fuck me up for sure. But this song don't, because if my dad knew I was listening to a song like this and thinking about him, he would just turn over in his grave and be like, God damn, you can't play Cats in the Cradle? Jesus Christ, what is this bullshit? It was not hit for him. So this song don't do that to me, right? But on the other hand, I'm the only one of the four of us who has my own sons now, and I'm a huge pussy about all of that. I'm very, very like any kind of fucking father-son, treacly, saccharine shit. It don't matter how over the top it is, can just really get to me very quickly and unabashedly. So this song do that. But then I hate the Lord, and you get to the third verse of it. You get to the third verse of it, and it becomes about the Lord, and now I'm back to it not. So I'm all over the fucking board with this particular George Strait song. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, when we get to that third verse, I'm going to try to make you feel better about the Lord part. I want to say that as one of your sons, it hits for me. It hits for me. It hits for me that this song. Well, fuck it. We need to get in the lyrics, I think, because we're talking about it in the macro, and we get a lot of listeners who they don't be listening to these songs. They don't know about them. I got sent home from school one day with a shiner on my eye. Fighting was against the rules, and it didn't matter why. When Dad got home, I told that story just like I'd rehearsed, then stood there on those trembling knees and waiting for the worst. And he said, "Let me tell you a secret about a father's love. A secret that my daddy said was just between us. He said, daddies don't just love their children every now and then. It's a love without end. Amen. It's a love without end. Amen." I do like that we start with a story. This is a very cheesy saccharine chorus, which is what we're used to from George Strait at this point. Obviously, his fans love it. I love it when it's done well, but I love the specificity of that first verse.
Right. Yeah. It's something that most people, especially of like, I guess not now anymore. Most kids probably can't, I would imagine. But like back in the day, something everybody could relate to, like, he think he about to get his ass whooped.
Right.
With a belt. Like, he's like worried. Like, I don't want to tell my dad what I did because I'm going to get my ass whipped, But then it goes the other way. But that used to be something that was universally relatable. I think
my dad was so different in that regard, in that I got in a fight in second grade, sort of, where this kid was above me on the bleachers and we got into it somehow. And he just kicked me in the head twice. And then the teacher came around and broke it up. And I had marks under my eyes. And when I got home, my dad said he was going to whoop my ass if I didn't beat the kid up when I got to school the next day, if I didn't punch him in the mouth. And then when I was on my way to school the next day, very nervous about getting in trouble, more so than the fight, my mother told me I did not have to do that she had talked to Dad or whatever, and basically told him he's an insane person.
Yeah, my mom and dad both was always just like, as long as you didn't start it, you better have defended yourself. Don't lay there and get your ass whooped. But if we find out that you was the one poking the bear, you're in trouble. But as long as you didn't start it, you're going to get in trouble at school, but you won't be in trouble at home.
Yeah, no, y'all are both right. I was focusing on the part of the kid thinks he's in trouble with his dad. Right. Yeah. Like for fucking up it. But you're both right that like it is definitely divisive. The idea that fighting being against the rules for some Southern country daddy, no matter what, like it's a little hard for me to believe now that we all mention it and we're talking about it. Yeah, that's a little different. But I guess when you so down with Christ, I don't know how Jesus beat. Drew's dad
turn the other
preacher,
cheek is what Jesus.
You're supposed to turn it. Yeah,
Dad wasn't preaching in second grade yet. He was probably hung over on the couch when he told me I had to whip that kid's ass.
Go in there and whoop that 7-year-old's ass, or don't show your face around here.
Or I'm whipping you. Yeah, like until Mom told me I didn't have to, I was like, well, I'm gonna do it because getting a whipping from my father will be worse than this kid and/or the school. And he was saying like I had to defend myself, and I was like, okay, but like I didn't run away; it just got broke up. What was I supposed to do, Dad? Fight the teacher too?
Goddamn right.
Yeah, goddamn right.
Tushar, I want to hear, your perspective. Remind me when you moved to Alabama.
89. I was 8.
8. Okay, and was fighting? Did you have to fight? Were you picked on?
I was picked on by a couple of like classic like white baseball player jock guys, but they would just say some stuff that would be like kind of making fun of me for being fat. Nothing.
They weren't racist yet.
They weren't racist yet. Yeah, they were still
fat phobic. That came naturally.
But the 2 times I did get in physical fights was more that I got straight up beat up, and they were black kids.
And did your dad?
Pretty good.
Dad,
take that one.
Did your dad have a?
We're all white guys.
Well, I was gonna say, did your dad have any thoughts? And you can share the racist ones if you want. What was your dad's feelings on fighting at school?
I mean, I never got back to him that I fought physically with them, but
you didn't get a note.
Dad was. He died. So I can tell you stories but man, this guy was the most anti-Muslim, racist, blatantly from a village perspective.
You got any quotes?
He would break it down. He would if I remember one time we were out in public and he was so friendly. He would talk to anybody, right? He would just in public.
A lot of racists be that way.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
No, but he would
kind of Paula Dean's whole career.
Yeah.
He would be solely cordial and like genuinely interested in people. So he would never treat any individual like poorly, but he would meet a couple of like black people from like in the neighborhood, and then he'd come back and just naturally be like, they're from Africa. They're kind of, they're inferior.
Word.
Like, it was just
Damn, like
whoa.
Damn.
He would say it
So
so
he would have
matter
beat
of
your
fact.
ass for getting beat up by an inferior kid.
Yeah, no. But that's what he would be like. That's their inferior. So you have to stay away from them. Like he would be. I'm a reason
You
why
would say something wild like their brains
Well-
are prone to violence, Tushar. That's what you get for being
Yeah,
married
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
But on that note, too, Sharp, we've talked on the other podcast for, and I'm not trying to derail this completely, but like most of the world just be crazy racist,
Yeah,
right?
most-
like
most.
most of the whole world
Right,
is
right,
just
it's
so
wild,
racist.
Yeah.
So
You've made the
Uh,
argument before
you'll-
that it's possible America is the least racist place on
Yeah.
earth.
For sure.
which is crazy to
it's-
think about because
it's
we
very-
racist,
It's
boy.
way easier to be racist in a vacuum, which is
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
of the country. The world is in
Right.
in their own vacuum.
Right? Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but
It was, if it's a black vacuum, sure.
So who else didn't hit for your dad?
buddy, you name it.
What about Whites? Did Whites hit for him?
He was like, why he saw
Had to
he
give
read
it
an
up for us.
he read it. He read an article once in the Huntsville Times that a guy who lived close to us murdered some psychotic white guy murdered someone, put their body parts in his fridge, and the police found body parts from a murder that happened a while back. And he told us that as if every single white man commits that crime once a year.
Yeah,
Like it is.
I can see that.
And it was just this fear, like you're just scared. You're just an immigrant. Everyone kind of scares you. So, but he was also very well read. So all of his stuff was backed up, like a bookish KKK person.
Oh, Ben Shapiro.
That's one of my
yeah,
other
very
characters.
like backed up with like
Yeah,
facts.
Ben
and stuff
Jabi
and, like-
Shapiro. I get it.
But at the same time, he would literally his friends, and he worked with people who were across all, like he worked in research. So like that was anyone that in the academic world has nothing to do with race. So like on the one hand, he was very much open with working, and then the other hand, his like biases would take over his like logical thought. It's very strange to observe because he was very smart. So you would think he'd be open-minded, but no, not at all. And he has created a monster.
Well, anyway, how did he feel about violence?
Oh no, he did. I mean, violence.
You would have gotten in trouble for fighting.
I would have gotten in a lot of trouble, and he never. At one point, I got much bigger than him. Like he was 5'8", I'm 6'3". At some point in high school, I dwarfed his size,
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you didn't give a fuck.
You
how
still
felt about
fat?
violence.
and I was still fat. Yeah, all through high school.
Hell,
Um,
no hit.
But this song is kind of like. I agree with a lot of stuff that Trey said, where it's like it turns very like amen sermony kind of like this is my duty to love you. But then also my first thought was like, oh, this is like a prequel to like an active school shooter. Like you are letting this kid be a piece of shit and you love him. Like you should be asking what he did. What did he do, man? What did you
You
do?
start victim blaming and creating a whole scenario. This kid's
Yeah,
not a black
all the-
guy.
I'll tell you what. One thing the school shooters have in common: they were loved too much as kids.
by their
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
And you're right, Tushar. The kid with the black eye gets home and should be blamed for it. That's a good way to prevent a school
Mhm.
shooter.
No. But he just said like, I know you're like the scene that you paint in the first lyrics is kind of it's very sweet. A scared kid about to get hit, and he's scared that he's going to get hit again, and then he's told he's loved. Like it's a very nice thing, but I don't know. I guess I'm a piece of
But
shit.
some
I
bitch
look.
shit,
I look
though.
at that. In the worst-
Is that right, too? Also, like, I feel like I didn't say the things that you just implied I said.
Just like Trey said,
You're like, I agree with a lot of what Trey said, and by that I mean this is clearly a prequel to a school shooting.
Trey said.
Yeah. You guys remember a minute ago where Too Short was like, yeah, our dad, he taught us wild shit. I didn't believe any of it, but just like every white man commits a hate crime in his life. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, yeah, this kid's going to be a school shooter just like my dad taught me.
Yeah. He wasn't even
All right, here
around.
we go.
Dad wasn't around during the active shooter phase of America.
Yeah, but I bet every time it came on
It's
the news,
not a phase
your mom
anymore, I
was
don't
like,
think.
Your dad was fucking right. It is in every one of them.
I mean, we do be like that.
Of course.
Not all white people be like that, but all people to be like that is white people. So what are you gonna do?
Your dad was on to something with the whites. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Nobody but us chop people up and put them in the freezer and turn them into soup and lamps and shit. That's
true.
exclusively some us shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
What sounds like your dad's good at is not identifying the cause of a particular race's problems, but pointing out a particular race's issues in the world for sure.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
It sounds like he was reading crime statistics and being like, blacks are violent and whites are psychopaths. Anyway, guys, don't go outside tonight. And that's why you got fat. All right, moving on.
No argument here, buddy.
When I became a father in the spring of '81, there was no doubt that stubborn boy when I became a father in the spring of '81, there was no doubt that stubborn boy was just like my father's son. And when I thought my patience had been tested to the end, I took my daddy's secret and I passed it on to him. And I said, let me tell you a secret about our father's love.
Secret.
Get it, Joe?
About a father's love. A secret that my daddy said was just between us. That's all I
Kermit
remember.
the Frog thing you're doing is hitting for me.
Now, daddies don't just
The
love their
bass.
children every
There you
now
go.
and then. It's a love without end. Amen. Oh, thank you, Kermit. Yeah. Waka waka.
Tom Petty's got a little bit of a Kermit the Frog thing on some songs.
He does.
Anyway, this verse reveals less. I love the specificity of the first verse, and this one is just like, and then I had a kid, and he was a lot
He was a
like
little
me.
piece of shit too.
He also didn't hit.
Yeah. This is where the song loses a lot of points for me, more than the third verse, and I'll get into why in a minute. But I didn't like this one as much.
See, this verse, not because of even what it says in it, but just because of what it's about. This verse and the following version of the chorus is one of the only reasons that this song does hit for me now, just because it's about
Because you got Sharon's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that totally
exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That
right.
totally makes sense. And
See,
by the
that's
way,
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
think
If I never had my own sons, I don't think I would give even the very first fuck about this song. But
that
but
makes
again,
sense.
acknowledging it's well made and all that musically, but you know what I'm saying. But I do have kids, so it's like that's why I keep waffling.
The
and
rap
ain't even got to the
version.
Lord.
Is it Dear Mama?
No,
Yeah,
I
but
was going to
that
say
can't
just
be.
the two of us by Big Willie.
There you go. Yeah,
There you go.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He even says, makes me laugh because you've got your daddy's ears. So, that little boy was just like my father's son. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it.
Nailed it. Good job.
Made a
Chad.
hit. There ain't
I was
many
gonna-
rap songs about
No,
you
they
know.
ain't.
I mean that Chris Rock had a whole bit about that. There ain't too many songs about that. Nobody give a fuck about daddy. Not many daddy songs out there. Period. So that's a good pull.
That second verse, the comment I made, I didn't realize that now till I read these lyrics in preparation for this episode. You know what I mean? I never had the thought in the past, that second verse is weak, but it's lay it out in front of me. And it was like, man, it's just not holding up to that first one. Specificity does it for me. It's one of my favorite things about country music is the ability to be universally relatable, but with specific stories. And then that second verse is just kind of like,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it is very general, but it also is something that that's the whole deal. When you have kids is like seeing yourself in them and they drive you fucking crazy sometimes, but you know how it is and you know why they be the way they be. And you think about your parents or your dad and how he was, and just that whole dynamic. That's what this verse is about. I mean, you're right. The first verse does that, but in by using a specific anecdote that sort of gets all that across, whereas this verse just kind of just says all that stuff, so that does make it different. But if you've had that experience, you definitely connect to it.
Your oldest stands and walks like you, or at least used to stand and walk like you. It's been almost 25% of his life since I've seen him.
Yeah, that's wild.
He stands and walks like you in a way that like I have not seen very often as far as physicality. You just like, oh, you got his eyes, oh, you got his nose. It's like you move the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they come from your balls, dog.
Me and my dad have the same exact stand, but not walk. And by stand, I mean our bellies poke out the same. We both look like Ethiopian children. That's what my mama used to say. Is it racist? Probably.
Yeah, but in that cute way, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that cute way where you compare your son to a starving child with a swollen belly.
I don't think the race has anything to do with it, though.
That's true. It's not racist. It's just really, really, really mean.
Sad, mean and sad. More so than racist, yeah.
All right, let's get to that.
Or as Trey called it, cute.
I meant his mama saying a racist thing is the cute version of you know how they be.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Precious racism.
Dude, you said it earlier in this episode. I wrote it down because I'm going to add it to my bit about how I'm not nice, I'm good. Racists are real friendly.
Of course, they have to
be.
Yeah,
Corey and Tushar. Corey and Tushar, do you have any thoughts about the second verse before we move on?
No, I agree with all that other shit.
Yeah.
All right. Before we do move on to the third verse, let me say yet again, no official video. This is becoming a theme for 4 weeks straight. George Strait don't give a fuck about videos.
Mm-mm.
Which is admirable, kind of.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's move on to the third verse. Last night I dreamed I died and stood outside those pearly gates when suddenly I realized there must be some mistake. If they know half the things I've done, they'll never let me in. Somewhere from the other side, I heard those words again. Oh,
where did that even come from?
He's talking about God the Father. So he's talked about him being a father and his own father, and now he's moved on to God.
Don't hit for me neither, Tushar.
No, it don't hit.
Let me just say one thing that hits about it for me. Obviously, this is a Christian reference, pearly gates.
Yeah.
But arguably, this is a very unchristian sentiment that he's making here.
Okay.
Especially in the South, and this at that time and now and probably forever and always, unfortunately, which is, according to common Southern Christian tradition, it absolutely matters what you do. You don't fucking get to be in there. You fucking go to hell if you don't act right.
Well, but in the Baptist faith, it's the once saved, or Southern Baptist at least, it's once saved, always saved. So if you at one point have accepted the Lord,
fall from grace if you're in like at least 50% of other churches in the South.
You can, but you wouldn't have had to have lived a perfect life because Drew, we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God.
We all fall short of the glory of God. Amen, Brother Corey.
Amen. And so there's plenty of dudes in the pulpit who have had a sordid past, but it doesn't matter because they gave their life to God. Now God forgave them. Hell, that's why Jesus died on the cross. It was not in vain. It was.
But that part of the story is truly beautiful. That part of the faith that they don't focus on, the forgiveness and grace part, is actually quite beautiful. So as far as this part of the song goes, again, pearly gates, we know that he's talking about a Christian tradition, but the notion of the song, I mean, if we go back, they don't love their children every now and then. It's a love without end. Amen. Just when I thought my patience had been tested to the end. The point I'm trying to make is that he's essentially saying that God loves his children no matter what. And that's not a very common culturally Christian thing to say in the South at that time period.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, I'll have to take y'all's word for it on that part. It just
No, you don't. Because, I mean, think about why you said fuck all that. Because your fucking uncle was going to hell automatically.
Yeah, but I also, and look, we all know I'm Bible dumber than shit. Okay, but like
but I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm talking about culture.
I thought that also part of it, which I feel like is what Corey was just alluding to, was the idea that like whatever your transgressions, we can work it out. You know, the Lord will be there for you or whatever. Which I thought is like what this verse is supposed to be saying. Is like,
It
no,
is.
God loves all his children, even the black ones and all that stuff. You know, he loves them all.
Red and yellow, black and white.
They are precious in His sight. It is absolutely trying to say that.
Sure.
You are completely correct. But I'm saying that in the context of this song, it seems to me that the whole notion of it is that a father will love you no matter what you do. And then he's at heaven about to be let in. So it's not just like God will love you no matter what you do. There's sort of an implication. And because he loves you, no matter what you do, he will let you into heaven. And that culturally
And that
is
ain't how it's
not
supposed to
true.
work. Right.
It's not how it works.
What do you
Not
think
in my
about this Jesus stuff, Tushar?
I mean, it's just as confusing as the other stuff.
Right.
I
All
saw- you
Greek.
think
All Greek to you,
I,
buddy.
I thought Hinduism.
Where was your
was-
dad at on the Greeks?
These are just mythological creatures. No, we have, this last, like, I don't understand where it fits within the larger song. I know I said that earlier.
I mean, I
But-
do.
I don't,
It
yeah, I don't
ties
get
it
what you
all
don't get
together,
about
yeah.
that.
I
So
mean,
It doesn't. It's like your son. My son's a piece of shit. He got in a fight.
No,
No, he's
no.
not a piece of
I'm a piece of
He
shit.
the boy in the first one is him.
It's him,
The,
it's him.
Is the
Yeah.
voice of the narrator of the song. Then that guy becomes a father later, and in the second verse he's singing about that, and he's saying, "Now I get it."
Yeah.
And then the third verse is talking about God.
It
the
all comes from
Father,
God.
and His unconditional love for His children, and it's just unconditional fatherly love from God above on down to
Yeah.
his fucking daddy when he was
Yeah,
a
can
piece
I
of
just
shit
say
kid.
that
Is
I
the-
understand why Trey don't like that on principle or whatever, but Tushar saying he doesn't get it, like it's a pretty tight song. Like there's a
No, I
through
mean,
line.
I definitely
no.
get it.
Okay, no, I get it now. I honestly, I'm
Tushar
a
hit play on this song and it was like, being a dad, fuck that, I don't get it.
no, that actually helps a lot. Thanks, Trey. But that being said, I don't like this. Like, the love is almost like you're submitting yourself to God, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah, that's
undertone,
the
right?
whole thing.
That's the
Mhm.
whole thing. And
definitely in
with
there.
that comes you, I presume you said all your sorries and you made all your, you know, whatever rules you broke, you said sorry and you asked for forgiveness, and this now you're in. And that's the thing I hate the most about Christianity.
Sure.
It is my
Yeah.
least favorite thing that there's an out clause where you can just say these magic words and you'll be free of all sins. Like, fuck you, dude.
I mean, I hear you, but if you're in a religion, that's the best part of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm
But
saying.
yeah, I agree with you, because the people that just live their lives based on that, they're like, I can just do whatever, and then bippity
Right.
boopity bop, you know.
But no, I'm sure there's other examples, but this is definitely like a trope. I mean, I can think of one other example for sure, a song that actually really hits for me a whole lot, that follows a very similar structure. Now that I think about it, is the Eric Church song "Sinners Like Me." Y'all know that song, right? And it's like the court. I come from a long line of sinners like me, and he's talking about how him and his daddy and his granddaddy are they all drink and
Drunks.
party and hit and stuff and all that, and that's the whole point of the
Song
song.
hits.
And I come from a long line of drunks too, so that song really hits for me. But then at the end of it, he pivots into, I know when
They're
I
on
die,
his grave, yeah.
I'm gonna go up to the pearly gates or whatever, and I'll stand in a long line of sinners like me, waiting to get into the kingdom of heaven. And I fucking love that song, but that part I'd always be like, God, why'd this part got to be here? This
So
don't-
funny how
this
many
song-
third verses in country just ruin
Right.
it for you.
Yes,
right towards
I know,
the
that's
end.
what I'm saying, because it is a trope. They bring it back to the
Yeah.
Lord all the time if they
This
can.
song,
Like,
this song is brought to you by Manifest Destiny.
I can understand
guess-
too why, like, some Southern Baptist Christians, it's kind of bucking up against their whole fucking system, because it's really socialist when you think about it. It's, you could work your whole life and be the best person ever, not sin, be a pillar of the community, and you and the dude who at 85 years old, who's been a truck driving, whore banging son of a bitch his whole life, but on his deathbed gave his life to God, y'all go to the same place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Y'all
buddy.
go to the
it's
exact
almost
same
as if-
place.
It's almost as if their entire worldview is convoluted and they don't understand their own
Yeah.
fucking religion, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And by the way, my papa was quite literally that guy. I think he was 84 when he professed to. Hey, there he was. He heard me
God
talk.
His
damn.
spirit. There
Yeah,
was his Holy Spirit.
He
My
was
Uncle
84
Harley.
when he professed his love for the Lord. He died like 3 years later. It's
My
like,
Uncle
buddy,
Gordon.
what a
at-
way to go out.
My Uncle Gordon at 92 years old stopped drinking and smoking and turned his life to the Lord and died 3 years later.
Bro, that's
Papa
the
kept
way
drinking.
to do
He
it.
was like a
Clearly,
Catholic.
hell, if I've lived that long, I might do that.
I tell you
'cause
what
why
though,
not?
it's
Fuck
like
it.
making hollandaise sauce though. You gotta time that shit just
For
right.
sure, that's
before
the
it's
whole.
creamy.
That's the whole gamble right
Yeah,
there. It's like
for sure.
playing the cards right. Like you got to
Yeah.
know when to hold them, and when to fold them.
Yeah, for
When it comes to professing your love for the Lord. But yeah, if you've made it to 90 and you like dying would hit anyway, which I imagine is true for everybody who's 90.
Oh yeah.
Like just why not just
Just
roll
go,
the
Lord.
dice
Yeah.
on that Lord, Pascal's wager they call it. Fucking
So
roll the dice on the Lord.
Here's
Who
a
gives
way
a
to do
fuck?
Pascal's wager earlier and us make a lot of money. So let's get into the songwriter. His name is Aaron Barker. He also wrote last week's song. I promised to talk about him this week. He co-wrote last week's song, I Can Still Make Cheyenne. Aaron Barker's a singer and a songwriter. He's been in Nashville for a while. He's had some sort of hits of his own, like, number 80 on the Billboard charts, but he has a few number ones, most of which are with George Strait. I think he's got one with Clay Walker. But he's also written a book, and not a memoir, not like a novel. He wrote a novel, a full-on novel called A Love Without End, Amen. It is based upon, a scenario with a father and his son who is sick. And I have no
Fuck that.
idea.
The son is sick.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of here. I don't want no part of
I
that.
have no idea how or why. It's very religious-y. I have no idea. So
Double
it wouldn't hit
fuck
for you
that.
on every level. I have no idea how or why this has not been made into one of those super Christian
Hallmark movies.
that's been, that's now,
Firehouse.
Firehouse or whatever. I feel like it's the easy. You've already got the book. You've got the fucking song. Everybody would want to do it because they would make $1 million fucking dollars.
Well,
why have they
bro,
not done it?
Well, you're right about having the existing IP as far as the book and the song. That's a good point, but that's like a whole goddamn subgenre for them motherfuckers is killing a kid off.
Yeah, Walk to Remember.
Little angel
That's what I'm saying.
wings,
Why have they
angel
not
wing
made that into a
bullshit.
movie?
I hate that shit.
Me too.
I think what Trey's
how
saying
they
is
not
they
done it?
probably have, and we just ain't seen it.
I feel like it would reference it though. I studied this.
What
guy
about
this
that?
week.
What about that Greg Kinnear movie where his kid about dies and sees the Lord or something?
But what I'm saying is, why have they literally not made a movie based on this literal book with this guy and had George Strait put the song at the beginning and the end, and he played the dad or an uncle, and everyone made $1 billion fucking dollars.
Now that actually is kind of mind blowing because like you could get almost any dumb motherfucker to write that shit, that screenplay.
That's true.
I'm
sure this motherfucker would happily write that screenplay.
Right, for sure.
So I'm
did
saying
the song and the book.
Wager,
Not that, by the way, I'm not calling this guy a dumb motherfucker.
So the Pascal's wager for your soul and for your career is to just write this fucking movie when all other bets are off and somehow get it to George Strait.
Ugh.
Buy a boat. You can name the boat Titties and just be like, all right. One more thing about Aaron Barker that is going to connect to Cho.
Oh.
By the way, I want to say real quick, the name of his song that he got personally onto the top 100 Billboard was called The Taste of Freedom in 1992, right as we were going into Iraq.
Does it taste like an ice cold beer?
An ice cold beer on a pussy hole. Yeah.
Now that's Wheeler Walker. This dude was 92 was talking probably about a cold glass of sweet tea on the way to church.
The fucking body of the lamb or whatever y'all call it. Them crackers.
Now, that doesn't
Y'all,
taste like freedom. That tastes like savior.
What?
Whatever y'all call it.
It is whatever y'all call it.
I'm informed.
Lord cookies.
Yeah.
Lord cookies. That is what we call
unleavened bread. It don't hit.
Yeah. We got Lord Cookies Light too because all the ladies are on a diet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Aaron Barker. This is going to connect to Cho. Also wrote and performed the jingle for Bluebell Ice Cream.
Oh,
A
there you
jingle in
go.
which Corey, as I recall, the first closer I ever saw you do, or it was close to the end. It might have been
Yeah.
opener. I might be misremembering.
Yeah.
But one of Corey's early jokes I remember was specifically about that jingle.
Yeah, it was. It went. I was like, man,
I remember it.
Daggum, man, you're driving down the road. These commercials, like they're getting pretty good, man. You've been driving down the road and you think you're hearing a song, and all of a sudden it turns out it's a commercial. Like I was driving around, I heard this one. It started out awful normal. It was I hate illegals and the gays. Bluebell tastes just like the good old days. You talk about fucking leveling the comedy catch on Brainerd Road. That one did.
Guarantee, son.
Yeah.
I synced it.
Yeah.
I've seen it many times. Well, you were doing the ditty
Mhm.
of the man who wrote A Love Without End, Amen, and
I'll
your
be.
favorite George Strait song, I Could Still Make Cheyenne.
I will be.
I
How
will
about
be
that?
Too. How about it, son?
Yeah.
Hey, y'all just did. So have we talked about, surely at some point we've talked about LIB before, right?
L-I-B. Yeah, and
MR
like
pigs.
and the
LIB,
MR
talking about the Arkansas reading test that went around and went viral. Yeah.
So, Tushar, do you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up and try to share it.
All right. But yeah, it's the one I saw was pigs, which makes sense if it's Arkansas reading test. But I feel like I've heard
Hey,
other
wait.
versions of it. I'm sure in Arkansas they probably got a Tennessee reading test or something. I don't know what ours would be.
I feel like usually everybody just goes Alabama. Let's just do that, and then Alabama does Mississippi,
Mississippi.
and then Mississippi's too fucking stupid to come up with one.
Yeah, Mississippi just somebody got to be the bottom dumb. You know?
Somebody got
At some point, somebody got to be the bottom dumb.
Thank God for Mississippi.
Thank God. That's the unofficial slogan of the rest of the South for sure. Thank God for
Thank God for
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Parentheses. Somebody got to be the bottom dumb.
That's fucking funny and so fucking true.
So true. I mean, I love Mississippi.
I fucking love Mississippi, but hey, as you said,
Well, and ironically, when we defend the South and we bring up all of the artists and impressive people, inarguably two of the most impressive on an intellectual level or a fame level come from Mississippi, being William Faulkner and Oprah. But you are still correct. They are the bottom dumb.
yeah, Mark Twain
All right,
almost
Tushar.
exclusively.
Go Bullies.
Tushar, please tell me if you can pass this 12th grade state of Arkansas reading test. You can start from the beginning and just work your way down each column. And then
Wait, what is the test?
it's a reading test. Can you read these words? You start with the first column and go down, and then you go over to the second one.
Mr. Mice, Mr. Not, Osar.
You're already failing it, buddy.
You
What?
failed so bad. All right.
You want me to do it for you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get it,
Corey,
Joe.
let's do it back and forth.
MR mice,
MR not.
OSAR,
CMEDBD feet.
LIB.
MR mice.
That's it. LIB.
Buddy, if you
That
think
is
that this
so
didn't make
funny.
church ladies laugh in about
It's funny.
1995, I mean, yeah, it is funny.
It's fine.
And you could see.
Look at
Tushar,
the
now-
farmer one. They
now do you
throw
wanna
some.
try
They throw
one?
some shade on farmers here halfway through the test.
Yeah, Tushar,
Now-
try the farmer one. Now,
I'll
you
do
That's
got
it with
funny.
MR Farmers. M or
Him or
not.
not.
OSAR.
See him empty pockets.
LIB.
LIB. He don't
LIB.
hit.
Them are farmers.
I like.
I don't know
CM
how
Lang.
you guys conquered the world, honestly.
Well, we didn't.
We didn't.
We didn't.
Our version of white. Hey, what I just say? Somebody got to be the bottom dumb, okay?
Yeah.
And in terms of the white world,
We're the least
we
hitting
are
ones.
absolutely the bottom dumb. We ain't conquered shit.
We got Irish and Scottish blood coursing through our veins.
yeah,
son. Our
dude.
people hid in the
So
hills
lucky.
and plucked
Nobody-
sheep. Now, I do
Oh.
want Corey to open up a restaurant called CM Wang's.
It would hit.
That would hit. Sam Wangs.
Well, you guys want to do a rating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back to it. What is your rating for Love Without End, Amen, Mr. Corey Ryan Forrest?
1 Earnhardt. Fuck this
Uh-huh.
song.
Yeah, I was gonna go. We have to do thirds. I want to do So I guess I'll do
1/3 of an Earnhardt.
No, 1 1/3, because again, like I said, I have sons. I feel like I can't entirely hate it because it's so pandering to the father-son relationship. But like I said, it don't make me think of my own dad at all, because he absolutely hated this song. And then you get the Lord turn at the end. Really, the Lord's peppered throughout, but the Lord really comes in strong at the end, and I just can't cotton to that, of course. So 1 1/3 is what I'll give it.
Did I mistakenly hear you earlier? Hasn't the second verse made you emotional before?
No, I didn't say that about this.
Oh, my
song.
bad. Okay. 1 1/3 and 1 Tushar. What do you got, buddy?
I'm gonna go 1/3.
There you go.
I'm going as the lowest number of Earnhardts, a fraction of one Earnhardt, because this guy. First of all, I didn't really get the song for some reason, and that's my bad.
I don't see. This is what I don't get about you. Like, I get it. I get the goddamn song, just don't hit.
I just don't like. It just got too Jesus-y for me, and I think it promotes violence in its own way. It's very anti-BLM, you know.
This kid's gonna be a school shooter, I tell you.
Something bad's gonna happen with this kid, and he's just gonna ask for forgiveness at 50 after his own little genocide.
I feel like Tushar said 1/3, 1/3, 13 number of abortions I've paid for. I'm going to go with 2. I think this is I'm rating it from the perspective of how good of a song it is or is not. It's not the best one we've heard. I'll go 1 2/3. I do think it is, other than Amy's Back in Austin, probably the worst song we've done, just in a vacuum. But it's still a fucking George Strait hit. I mean, people love it. You know, it's well done. I'll go 1 2/3.
We landed on Amy's Back at Austin. Just don't hit at all. Like,
no, I don't.
That surprised me too. I think I gave it a 2.
I about to say I don't think
I think my thoughts on it was, yeah, now that we're really breaking it down, it don't hit, but at the same time, I love it. We'll always love it, and you know,
right.
I disagree. Y'all were so intent that man was a fucking idiot and nothing.
Yeah, but that ain't got nothing to do with the song. It's got.
I know, but I'm pretty sure y'all ended up giving it like a 1.5. This was before we did the 2/3.
I don't know. Maybe you might. Right.
I've listened to the song since. So whatever I said doesn't reflect how I currently feel now.
That's all. That's the general rule of thumb with the show, right there.
Yeah, without a doubt. Don't get too wrapped up in what I said.
What I say, yeah.
Yeah.
What I say ain't it.
Well, I'm glad I picked this one for the last week of 4 weeks straight. I should have probably went with a better one.
No, that's good.
No, I mean, it's literally his number 1 hit of all time, so it needed to be covered, I would argue. So
yeah, and that's where I go back to. Now I'm waffling back towards a 2. Either way, it doesn't matter because we made all this up and nothing matters.
None of it's real. Yeah.
I want to thank George Strait for his contributions. I got to say that while I like George Strait, I'm glad we're done with him. And
now.
Right. But I'm over it. I don't think I would have felt that way if we picked 4 random 90s Garth Brooks songs. So I'm ready to crown Garth Brooks king myself, but we'll get back to that at a later date, I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Guess we better do a woman next week. So
we will.
Yes, hell.
Bubba Shout the podcast, and that's right. A show about country at its height. Don't expect no shit from 2005. Bubba Shout the podcast, and that's right.